Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor Podcast. Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Podcast. Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Devon Taylor Podcast, where we have guests from all around the world tell their unique and powerful stories to not only allow their voice to be heard, but for you to leave feeling inspired. Today's guest, we are exploring how science and self-care are coming together in a whole new way. My guest has built her career at the crossroads of chemistry, sustainability, and human connection. Her work challenges the beauty industry to move beyond surface-level solutions, to think deeper about what it really means to care for ourselves and the planet. From studying biological engineering to shaping the future of skincare innovation, she's helping redefine what luxury and wellness can mean in the modern world. I'm so excited to welcome the founder and head of innovation for Aeston West. I'm not sure if yes. Okay. Kaitlyn Schneider. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited for you to be here as well. Thank you so much for being here. I'd love to just kind of start first with your background in biological engineering. What initially drew you towards skincare, and when did you realize science could be a pathway to self-care?
Absolutely. Yes. My background is very technical in biological engineering. I've always had a big passion for processes, creative problem solving, systems, and really getting to like the bottom of any kind of big problems, to the root of what's going on. And with that being said, I've always been really passionate about self-care, the arts, etc. My favorite story to tell is always, when I speak to people in my circle that are in the sciences, they always describe their work as very experimental, as something that's ever evolving, that's very creative. And when I speak to my more artistic friends, I always describe their projects as very technical and precise. And so I just always found that really interesting that there was more of a crossover between the arts and sciences, than maybe people typically think. And so I certainly fall into that category. More specifically with skincare and self-care, so much of it has to do with routine and repetition and being really specific with what you're trying and intentional. And so, it sometimes on paper seems like they're these kind of different diametrically opposed worlds, but I find in practice that they actually are very similar processes.
Right. Okay. I love that. So, having worked at Tata Harper, one of the pioneers in natural luxury skincare, what lessons did you carry forward about sustainability and the authenticity as you began shaping Aeston West?
Absolutely. I was really lucky early in my beauty career journey to work at Tata Harper because she is one of the pioneers in having really, really high standards in her products and being a clean, green beauty company. So, luckily, right out of the gate, my standards were high for what a product needed to be and what a product could be. And so, I've definitely carried that through into what I create now. There's never the baseline for me is those things, right? I always say that the least interesting part of your brand should be the fact that you're a clean beauty brand, right? And I say that because at this point, it should really be a given that your products are safe to use.
Right.
What else do you have going on? And so, of course, our products are clean, are green, are all of those things. Um, but I think that really the interest starts when you get beyond that into the efficacy, into the world building, into the everyday.
Yeah. And what do you like? So, I mean, I love that you mentioned that the clean part is something that should be almost in every product. And we don't see it in every product now. I mean, beyond beauty, even in the things that we eat. So what would you say to that? Just like the idea that, we still live in a world where there are products that are not clean and don't contain
Yeah.
ingredients that are good for our body.
Yeah, it can be a big challenge, and that's really where in talking to so many of our clients and people in our demographic, I found that the barrier to entry was just that. How do I know what I'm even buying, right? Like, how do I feel good about what I'm buying when there's so many options out there? Um, and my answer to that is really A, it's important what you said that all of this is additive, right? Your whole lifestyle, what you're putting in your body, on your skin and your hair, on the surfaces around you are all adding up to this sort of healthy environment, healthy living, sort of wellness bubble. And so for me, what I find to be the most black and white is really trusting those third party pieces. Because things like clean beauty, while it's great that it's becoming more common or more popular to have these clean products, it's not necessarily a specific term to be in
Right.
the science word. It's not necessarily a precise descriptor. So I like to really rely on third party testing, third party standards, because then you do level the playing field of understanding. And it's a very black and white, like this is clean, this is safe, this is something I can feel good about. So for us, for example, we are really focused on results and we've spent a lot of time doing third party testing, clinical studies to make sure that, as much as I would love for you to just take my word for it, you don't have to, right? We have real data to show what we're saying is true.
What is your, like, when you're because obviously you're in skincare, what is the most popular product that you guys are promoting right now?
Yep. So we actually just launched very recently. So I mentioned at the beginning that I'm very focused on routine, and it's really our inaugural routine, our Cell routine. It's just 3 steps. It's our Magnolia Cleansing Nectar, our Marine Treatment Mist, and our Cell Signature Serum. Um, So really excited to promote those 3 steps together. We designed it to be that short routine for just that reason, to make it something that is, doable, something you're excited to use, something that's not holding you hostage in your bathroom through 20-step routine, right? But is also really, really effective in just a short routine.
Nice. Okay. You know, it's so funny. I just received a facial, my first facial ever, and they were, obviously giving. There was like almost like a product tour after, trying to find the best product, and I never really thought about skincare in that way. I'm simple. I use coconut oil for my body, and I don't know if that's good or not. But for people like me that, are pretty simplistic in the way that we go with, to our approach with skincare, what would you suggest for us? Like,
Well, your
any
skin
advice?
is glowing, so the facial worked.
Thank you.
um, no, I you and a lot of people are saying the same thing, which is how do I even know what to use? And for the most part, that was the question I was getting. It wasn't, what are the ingredients I should use? It wasn't, how do I, it's like literally build me a routine. And so that was really the starting question for me is like, how do we simplify this? Because if you look at the market right now, you talk about this sort of product tour that you get, and it's really common. You find, over here is the 4 to 5 step hydration routine. And then over here is the 4 to 5 step vitamin C routine. And then over here is the 4 to 5 step anti aging routine, and so on and so forth. And all of a sudden, you start thinking, well, I want my skin to be glowier and I want maybe fewer wrinkles and I want hydration. Am I supposed to be using not only a 5 to 10 step routine? Am I supposed to be using 3 5 to 10 step routines? What's the answer? So the question became for me, well, what's making my skin dry? What's making my skin maybe look a little bit duller? What's causing wrinkles? And I found that there was a common root cause. And if we could address that root, then maybe we could actually simplify and you can see the multiple benefits, both in the short term and the long term using just one routine.
Nice. Okay. And so, I mean, this kind of, you're kind of helping answer my next question, which is how you guys are bridging the gap between the lab label innovation and the human connection, which is kind of almost like balancing it, or at least giving us like a like a signature, I guess, way of going about our routine. But what does that balance look like behind the scenes?
Absolutely. So to dip into my engineering background, right? There's many ways to build a building, right? You a perfectly good building, right? A simple warehouse is going to keep the rain out just as well as, a Greek palace or something really beautiful and architectural, right? So it's really not just one path. And so yes, efficacy was absolutely number one this day and age, and just out of respect for people interested in working with us, it has to work. That was the baseline, right? It needs to actually have results, have great ingredients. But ingredients are kind of always the story. It is for us too, but where are people falling off? And I found it was two other opportunities. It's properly using your products and regularly using your products, right? The best ingredients in the world that are at the back of your medicine cabinet are not going to fix are not going to change your skin overnight, right? So I found that that human connection really came in with those two steps and are the key to making a difference. So yes, of course, I love something that looks beautiful. I've got our packaging here right now. I like to think it looks nice. But it's technical beyond that. A product that can sit out on your counter that maybe doesn't need to go, under your sink when company comes over is probably the product that you're going to use. Those textural elements, those sensorial elements are what make you excited to use your products. A good example is, you know, cleansing, washing your face is the first step in the routine. And a lot of times when I say, "Oh, you've got to wash your face," people's first response is like, "Oh, I've gotta wash my face." So it was a real win for me to make that a step that you could be excited about, because again, if you don't do that first step, it's hard for anything else to penetrate your skin. So to me, it felt very natural and frankly, like, very technical to have these sort of quote unquote artsier part of the line integrated just as much as the technical pieces.
I love can you show the product again? I love the architect behind what was the inspiration behind yeah, like, what was the inspiration behind the architect behind how you guys built it? That's so beautiful.
Yeah, so like
I
I said,
love it.
I've always been
Yeah.
a big fan of the arts myself. But I was actually really inspired by interior design for the products first. Again, not the least of it because it does live in your home with you, right? It sits on your counter, on your bedside table. It in some way does become a part of your interior design as much as your skincare routine. And so for me, I've always been more of a maximalist. I love a good vintage store, a good antiques run. So when I was designing the packaging, I really wanted to almost have that experience of nothing matches, but somehow they all go together. It's a little bit jewelry inspired. I always like something shiny,
Yeah. That's beautiful.
but something that, even when you finish the bottle and it's completely empty, it can still sit there, right? Because it just looks so good.
But yeah, that's honestly what I thought when you bought the first one out. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's like a nice little sculpted" yeah,
Well,
statue.
it's funny because, this term beauty, right? Beauty industry is such a big category now. Of course, it includes skincare, but it's hair care, it's fragrance, it's in some ways it's candles and home care too. It's gotten really big. But I was like, what's my favorite part of beauty when I'm just shopping? What's the most fun you can have typically is buying fragrances, right? The big boom that's happening in fragrance right now, where people are buying it online, is really a testament to it's not just about what's in the bottle, right? There's a little thrill you get with buying a fragrance, and that's just the ultimate packaging experience. And so I said to myself, how do we take that duality of the excitement of what's on the outside and pair that with what's critical, making something that's effective and clinically tested on the inside?
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. That's so awesome. Yes, and the design is cute. I love it.
Thank you.
I want
Thank
one
you.
in my home now too. Okay, so when I was emailed by you, you mentioned developing new delivery systems at the cellular level. Can you share how that kind of technology could transform everyday skincare?
Absolutely. So we're not just a pretty face over here with our products and the packaging. As I said, it's about elevating everything up to the high standards we have in our formulas. So for the formulas with our new delivery system, again, I mentioned this idea of root cause and how do we address the underlying reason that you're seeing these sort of visible signs of aging, visible signs of skin conditions, etc. Um, and found that there was an underlying cause, which also translates, you might be more familiar with it in sort of the food world, this idea of inflammation
Hmm.
and chronic inflammation. Um, and in the short term, there's sort of more obvious visible signs, puffiness, redness, irritation that you might think of. But over time, it also leads to things like dehydration, the breakdown of the structural elements of your skin. And so I just found that to be really interesting that there could be this through line. So for me, it was important that we developed our own technology that could really address that. And what that meant was creating exactly that, our own nano delivery system. So we have nanotech in our products designed to not just go on top of your skin, but penetrate deeper and go right into the cellular level so that we are able to deliver these great ingredients and results, not only on the top layers of your skin, which is true. We all want that instant effect for when we're leaving our house right now today, but
Right.
also so that you see those other layers of your skin starting to be a little bit glowier, healthier appearing, and all of that good stuff too. So it's good skin today and it's good skin tomorrow.
And you're using your product, obviously. Your skin is beautiful. So
Oh,
I'm going to
thank
say,
you.
yeah,
Thank
you're
I'm obsessed. That is one of the benefits of this process is I got to be, one of the core testers.
okay. That's beautiful. So, in the age of constant busyness and overstimulation, how do you see skincare rituals as a form of mindfulness or healing?
Absolutely. So I've talked a lot about routine today, and there's a reason for that. A lot of times I find that in this world of wellness culture or self care culture, it can actually end up creating more stress than actual, mindfulness. And I think part of that is because you see you know, this association with wellness means doing 2 hours of yoga a day, followed by an hour of meditation, and I should be drinking 80 gallons of water while I'm also writing my feelings down, and it just becomes this insurmountable thing that maybe you can achieve once a month if you're lucky. But now you're stressed and it's actually have this sort of anti-effect. So really starting with wellness and self-care and less of this kind of physicality and more in this mental space where it's like, how do you reduce your mental load? How do you take a step back? Because that's really where you'll see the physical benefits, right? And so, as I said, with our routine, we wanted something that was simple and fun, frankly, to use every single day so that you see those benefits. But we also designed it so that if you've got less than 5 minutes in the morning, you can still do it. It's not prohibitive in that way, but there's ways to opt up. One of my favorite things about our cleanser is it is instantly hydrating. Your skin will never be softer after just a quick massage and rinse off. But it's also something that I love to really sit with and do a lymphatic drainage massage, really like massage your skin, maybe do a little mask with it while you're catching up on TV. So there's ways to extend it should you want that. But I think making a routine that you're able to do and excited to do every day that doesn't add to the mental load is like the absolute key.
That's beautiful. And it works as different, like you can leave it on and it could be a mask. Oh, wow. Versatile.
Listen, every product really had to earn its place. It's not unfamiliar to say that the beauty world is full. There's a lot going on, but I think that there's room for things that are new and really earn their place in your routine. And so it was important to me that every single product like show up, from the
Yeah.
perspective of everything has multiple benefits on a cellular, on a, skin level, both preventative maintenance and repair. But also from a product perspective, eliminating products in your routine. So our cleanser is a makeup remover, it's a cleanser, it's also a hydrating mask. Our mist, right here, is your toner and your essence all in one step. And our signature serum, we call it the serum because it's a serum cream hybrid. So it's your serum, all of your action powered ingredients, plus your deeply hydrating cream. Again, just in one step.
Nice. And I kind of wanted to go back to what you said about, kind of entering into the beauty world. How has it been for you since you've launched the products and, kind of put yourself out there, as, the newbie in the area? How have you been received by the beauty world?
Yeah, it's been really, really exciting. Of course, starting anything new is scary, frankly. But I really have been, I've been excited about the products for so long. And, this is why we spoke to so many women and men before we launched, is because, frankly, I wanted some of that validation. I wanted to come to market with something that people were excited about. And so we spoke to many, many women, many men in our demographic, asked them not only, here's our product, do you like it? But before we finish the products, again, what are the challenges that you're having with your routine right now? What are you not getting, Because the last thing I want to do is launch something that you already have and you're already not using, right? Um, so it's been really well received so far. I think that people um there's an inherent kind of understanding when you see it that there's something exciting here and it makes you want to pick it up and use it. But the very best part is when people come back and they say, wow, I used it and it worked, and now I can't stop using it. Please send me more.
That's when you've found something, and like almost like does it feel like you're in your purpose?
Absolutely. I definitely am somebody where, you know, I was lucky to kind of know what I loved to do early on, and so I just always felt this calling to create. The motto of our entire brand is this idea of duality by design. Taking these different worlds and finding beauty where they intersect. And I see that from again, I've talked a lot about the products and efficacy mixed with beauty and art, etc. But I see it as these conversation starters as well. Like, how do we take people with different thoughts and different approaches to skincare, maybe different age groups? Skincare, I think, is something that I have always seen as very communal. You learn skincare from your mom, your grandmother, your dad, maybe somebody, even an influencer online. Like it's very conversational, kind of inherently, but it's also very intimate. It is a very solo journey, right? It's something that
Mhm.
you're literally putting on your face by yourself in your bathroom every day, twice a day, hopefully. And so that's another example of these sort of community single moment. They're everywhere, right? And so that was something that I was just so excited to be able to explore initially. And it's one of those questions that every time you dig deeper, there's another one. I'm like, oh my gosh, it really is these two things coming together to make something even better and more exciting.
Yeah. No, I love you said that too. Everyone's journey with their routine is different, and mine has definitely changed throughout the years, and, um, you know, for me personally, I was never really, like, taught it. It was more so just, like, what I've seen and, what I've acquired through time, so I love that you mentioned that. It's, like a personal journey for everyone to kinda find their routine, and, I love how yours, feels like it could just encompass a lot of different areas to help keep it simple, I guess, for people. Um, but
Exactly.
yeah, many of us have complicated relationships with beauty and self image. How do you think the industry can better support confidence rather than insecurity?
Yeah, I think that's great. The good news is you can see it in the industry. There have been steps taken to help guide that conversation and make people feel more confident in their own skin. But I think that the journey can continue from there from the perspective of having real genuine conversations. So for example, with Easton West, I was really inspired by my mom's generation, right? I'm an only child myself, so growing up, I spent a lot of time with women that were older than me, and it was always such a source of inspiration from the standpoint of, they developed a cool sense of style before Pinterest, right? Before AI. They always had interesting things in their bag and great advice and tidbits. So Gen X baby boomers were the inspiration for me with this brand. And I find that a lot of times, like they're some of the most interesting people you can talk to. I mean, their generation is more active than younger generations. They're traveling. A lot of them are still working, raising kids, etc. But then you look at their products and it's like the entire message is anti-aging, pro-aging, anti-aging, reverse time, be your younger self. And it's like, that is not appealing, and it's also not possible, right? We aren't going back in time. So the mission for me was, how do we take these really interesting women, make products for them that they can then get back to just being interesting women and men, right? So if you look at younger generations, a lot of times, beauty is catered towards them, but it feels very locked in that younger generation. I mean, I'm a millennial. I've aged out of a lot of brands, which is crazy to say. And so to some extent, I wanted to create this brand that was like future facing and your best skin is ahead of you, and something that I could almost age up to and look forward to, rather than feeling like I'm constantly like getting kicked out of it. So that was really the inspiration for me, is feeling like you're actually part of the community is kind of the first step to feeling good, trying not to force yourself into something that doesn't work for you.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And aging up into it. That's beautiful. I mean, because I feel you the same way. I hate to say it, I used to shop at Forever 21 and now I can't because I'm not, so I don't feel, I've found myself not, I mean, they've closed a lot around here, but, I would find myself like, can't go to this store because of this, can't go to that because of that. But to find a product that's actually speaking to just, our growth as a human, versus, our age and where we're at in life is a beautiful concept. I love that's your angle. But you've also spoken about beauty being an act of compassion. What does that mean to you personally?
Yeah, so we touched on it a little bit earlier, but this idea that, beauty can be really fun. We'll all be honest, that's part of why we have maybe multiple lip glosses or multiple lip masks that you don't necessarily need. Like, it is fun. But there's a really real side of it that's hurtful and stressful and challenging. And so for me, again, it was important that we create this message that wasn't pandering, that wasn't, checking a box of saying like, we get you. We've been there, girlfriend, um, and again, really trying to listen to like what actually are the challenges that people are finding in their skin. I mean, a great example of this is your skin changes as you age and you get older. It's not a bad thing. Your skin's not getting worse. It's just challenges, right? Different changes. You might have more acne when you're younger. Frankly, you might have acne when you're older. It's not talked about enough. But there's, for every piece of education that's out there online about what to do about younger skin, there's just not that video, frankly, for menopausal skin or premenopausal skin or anything like that. So part of the conversation, and this is really where the science comes in, is taking the personal piece out of it. It's not something you're doing wrong. It's not, your skin's not bad, right? It's like, what's actually happening? Like, let's look at the data and the science of like physically what is happening, and make it less of a personal, quote unquote, issue. Because once we identify what the challenge is objectively, then we can work on finding a solution objectively, right? And the solution is not just be better, right? Of course, it's not. That's where, again, ingredients, making sure the right ingredients that are compatible with your skin, that are addressing, clinically shown to address the challenges that you have, can add to both the confidence of getting glowier, skin, but also, again, reducing that mental load of what am I doing wrong?
It can be draining. Yeah. What excites you the most about where science and skincare are headed in the next 5 years?
Absolutely. I think it's really exciting, this idea of holistic wellness and taking inspiration from different sources. There's really great ingredients that are skincare ingredients. We use them too, tried and true. But I look a lot of times to other industries. The food industry is a great one. Again, it's something that you're putting into your body every day. It's very tied to your overall wellness. Um, what are things that are good on the inside that we can use to drive wellness on the outside? I think the things that are interesting that are happening in the medical field are interesting as well. Again, targeted delivery systems for skincare were inspired by targeted delivery systems in the medical field as well. So, really sharing information, not just internally with the skincare community, but looking to other communities as well to really live up to this idea of, you know, preventative beauty, reparative beauty, because all of these things, your skin talks to your brain, talks to your gut. It is all connected, right? And so it makes sense that we find systems that work for all of these different areas of our life together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny that even when you were describing how your product works, like it just sounds so much more, how do I say, like, just like technical or like scientific. And I love that's my favorite part about just where skincare is going. Like it just feels so much more defined. So yeah, that's it's really exciting to see what you guys are going to be doing in the next 5 years, and how your product will evolve.
Now,
But
I'm very excited to see.
yeah, that'll be really cool. Sustainability is such a buzzword today. I think you kind of hit on it a few times today. But how do you ensure it's more than a marketing phrase at Easton West?
I love this. I love this topic. Sustainability is so interesting because it is important. It's critical. We all know this on a really surface level. But what does it mean, right? I think a lot of times where we go wrong is viewing sustainability as this destination, right? The reality is, like, you don't achieve sustainability and then you can sit back and relax. We did it. Check, right? It's a process, Like anything, there's new data about sustainability, there's new processes, there's new technology in sustainability. So really my feeling on most things is going to be a process of continuous improvement. I think that's true of our formulas, it's true of our packaging. Really where the challenge goes, or really where things go wrong, is when you feel like you got there and then you sit back and you never reevaluate. So for us, of course, we've taken steps right out of the gate to be more sustainable. That's part of why we have such a compact line, is so that you can really focus on buying fewer, better things, right, in your collection. We chose glass because, of course, it doesn't leach into your products. It's infinitely recyclable, truly. um,
Yes.
in our secondary packaging, we chose FSC certified paperboard with no plastic coatings. So, of course, we chose options that are sustainable now, but it's also something that never leaves our checklist, right? It's always something that we're evaluating and listening to see, are there ways that we can be more sustainable? Are there new technologies? And of course, we're open to suggestions as people see things that they like as well. And again, looking to other industries to see what they're doing too.
I love that you guys chose glass is like one of my favorite structures. I don't know, I don't have it behind me, but I usually drink out of a glass bottle because plastic carries a lot, and I think that's one of the best. I think it makes the product even look more fancy and rich. So that's
Another one where you can feel good about the choice on a technical level, but it
mhm.
also just looks so good.
Yeah. I love that. For listeners who might not have a science background, this is one of my favorite questions that I came up with. What's one myth about skincare or ingredients you wish more people understood?
Yes. As much as I like to be a maximalist, I think the biggest myth is this idea of more is more, right? There's ingredients and then there's the dosage of the ingredients. There's that sort of, 80s feel the burn type of perspective a lot of times, that if you're exfoliating, you need to really scrub, right? If you're using a retinol, you need to use as much of it at the highest percentage as possible. And the reality is products are not meant to be used that way. Again, it's ingredients, it's regular use, and it's proper use that actually will get you to where your skin goals are. And so really taking the time to care for your skin, you know, exfoliation can be really great. Any kind of peptides or soothing products can be really great, but there's always going to be a point where it goes too far, and then you're actually doing more damage than good. So, making sure that you really take into consideration the how when it comes to using your products, and that if it's burning, that does not mean it's working.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I love your story. It blends purpose, precision, and heart. What message do you hope your journey sends to other creators or innovators?
Yeah, I think the most important thing to me, and people said this to me when I was at the beginning of this journey too, is really sticking to your vision. It can be really, really challenging to see other people uh, doing something really great and wondering, should I be doing that too? But I think what's most important is the differentiation, what makes you special, and you're the only one that knows that, right? So really sticking to your vision and what you think that you're excited about, because it's hard to believe sometimes when you're deep in it, but there's other people that believe in it too. And there's other people that want and are excited about what you want and are excited about. And so as long as you maintain that core vision, you're absolutely on the right path.
Oh, you're such an inspiration. That even spoke to me right now. Thank you. Thank you for that message. Thank
No,
you.
I love that question. All of your questions were really fun to
Mm,
think about and dive into. I appreciate you too.
yeah, no problem. Okay, well, before we go, I just have a few last questions. Finally, what does beauty and intention mean to you? With intention, I'm sorry.
Beauty with intention, absolutely. Beauty with intention for me means knowing what you want out of it and not compromising to get there, right? Expecting more of your products, expecting more of the brands that you're using, and making sure that, you have your value system and the products that you're using share that. Because then you're really not going to go wrong. You'll find the results that you want. It'll be fun to use. Go figure.
Yeah, right.
And it'll be something where my goal is that, of course, skincare is important to you, but you're an interesting person. Your skincare routine is not the most exciting part of your day. And I know that, right? I want to be there for you, but I want you to get back to living your exciting life. So that's what's important to me. Intentionality, living your best.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kaitlyn. Before I let you go, where can everyone find you? Where can everyone follow? Where can they buy the product? We're going to leave it in the show notes as well, but if you want to leave it before you go, I would love
Thank
that.
you. Absolutely. Yes, we are now live. You can find Aeston West Skincare at eastonwest.com, and that is AESTONWEST.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kaitlyn. It was so nice having you. I really appreciate your story, and I hope everyone finds inspiration and goes and buys the product. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. No, this was so fun. It was such a joy to meet you and have this conversation today.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Until next time, have a good one.
Hey guys, it's Icarus here.
And Amelia.
And I'm here to tell you if you'd like to join our brand new adventure. Go to DevonTaylorAuthor.com to learn more.
And check out the cool items like the new bucket hat.
Yeah, and so much more. See you guys there.
Please don't